Chapter 1 Introduction to SM. Chapter 1 Introduction to SM. પહેલું બિઝનેસ પોલિસી. હવે બિઝનેસ પોલિસી છે ને આ ટાઈમ પાસના પહેલા 4 વર્ષ પહેલા એકવાર ખાલી MCQ માટે જોઈ જા. 1908માં શું થયેલું? HBS started using interactive case studies to teach students about Harvard Business School about management and planning. 1911માં Harvard Business School formally introduced a course to create and enhance general management. 1959માં business policy formally introduced in academics. 1969માં ASAACSB made it mandatory to have the course on business policy for the recognition of business schools in USA. હવે definition. C.R. Christensen defined business policy as the study of. C.R. Christensen business study ને કઈ રીતે define કર્યું? Functions and responsibilities of senior management, crucial problems that affect success in the enterprise, and the decisions that determine the direction of the organization. Functions and responsibilities of senior management, crucial problems that affect success in the enterprise, decisions that determines direction of the organization. C.R. Christensen defines business policy as the study of functions and responsibilities of senior management, crucial problems that affect success in the enterprise, decisions that determine direction of the and decisions that determine the direction of the organization. હવે આ વસ્તુ ફેઝીસમાં આવેલી. પહેલો ફેઝ phase 1 business used to be conducted on ad hoc basis with little or no formal planning. Phase 2 concept of business policy arises and entities started using short term, medium term and long term planning. Phase 3 business policy was replaced by strategic management as managers started using strategic planning. Sure. First done. Then management. હવે એમાં ત્રણ તરીકેની ડેફિનેશન છે. First, it is a key group in an organization in charge of company's affair. It is a chief organ entrusted with the task of making it a purposeful and productive entity by bringing together and integrating the disorganized resources of MMT, man, material, money and power, into a functioning whole and using them effectively and efficiently. It is a chief organ entrusted with the task of making it a purposeful and productive entity by bringing together and integrating the disorganized resources of triple MT, man, material, money, and technology into a functioning whole and using them effectively and efficiently. It is a chief organ entrusted with the task of making it a purposeful and productive entity by bringing together and integrating the disorganized resources of man, material, money, and technology into a functioning whole and using them effectively and efficiently. Strategic survival and success depends on character of management and competence, facilitate change and adoption of new environment. Sure. હવે બીજી definition. Set of interrelated functions and processes carried out by an organization to attain its objectives of planning, organizing, controlling, staffing ને વાલા. No. Set of interrelated functions and processes carried out by an organization to attain its objectives. અને છેલ્લી strategic management. Strategic management is an influence process to make things happen, gain command over phenomena, induce and direct events and people in a particular manner. Management is an influence process to make things happen, gain command over phenomena and induce and direct events people in a particular manner. Management is an influence process to make things happen, gain command over phenomena, induce and direct the events and people in a particular manner. Sure. Strategy as per William Guek એ કઈ definition આપેલી? It is a unified, comprehensive, integrated plan designed to assure basic objectives of an enterprise are achieved. Unified, comprehensive, UCLIP, a unified, comprehensive, integrated plan designed to assure that the basic objectives of the enterprise are achieved. It is a long-range blueprint of an organization. It is a long-range blueprint of an organization's desired image, direction, and destination. Long-range blueprint of an organization for its desired image, direction, and destination. Desired image is what it wants to be, direction is what it wants to be, and destination where it wants to go. Strategy is no substitute for sound, alert, and responsible management. Strategy can never be perfect, flawless, and optimal. Strategy is flexible and pragmatic in nature for sudden emergencies, pressures, avoid failures and frustrations. Sound strategy allowances are made for possible miscalculations and unanticipated events. Our strategy is partly proactive and partly reactive. A company strategy is typically a blend of proactive actions on the part of managers to improve the company's market position and financial performance. Reaction to the unanticipated events, fresh market conditions. A company uses both proactive and reactive strategy to cope up the uncertain business environment. Proactive strategy is a planned strategy, whereas reactive strategy is an adaptive response reaction to the changing circumstances. પછી a minute. આમાં એક આન્સર છે રિએક્ટિવ ને પ્રોએક્ટિવ વાળો. આવ્યો. Strategy is partly proactive and partly reactive. In proactive strategy, organizations will analyze possible environmental scenarios and create strategic framework after proper planning and set procedures and work on the strategies in a predetermined manner. However, in reality, no company can forecast both internal and external environment. Internal and environment forecast नहीं થઈ શકે. Internal and environment exactly forecast કરવું બહુ અઘરું છે. Everything cannot be planned in advance. It is not possible to anticipate moves of rival firms, consumer behavior, evolving technology, and so on. There can be significant deviations between what was visualized and what actually happens. Strategies need to be attuned or modified in the light of possible environmental changes. There can be a significant or major strategic changes when the environment demands. Reactive strategy is triggered by the changes in the environment and provides ways and means to cope up with the negative factors or take advantage of the emerging opportunities. આ થઈ ગયું. હવે આ થઈ ગયું સ્ટ્રેટેજી, આ વાળું થઈ ગયું. હવે સ્ટ્રેટેજિક મેનેજમેન્ટ પાછા આવશે આપણે. સ્ટ્રેટેજિક મેનેજમેન્ટમાં બી 5 બચ્ચા આવશે. ચાલ meaning. Managerial process of vision, objectives, creating strategy, implementing and evaluating strategy, and the corrective adjustments. Strategic management refers to the managerial process of developing a strategic vision, setting objectives, crafting a strategy, implementing and evaluating the strategy, and finally taking corrective adjustments where deemed appropriate. The process does not and it keeps on going in a cyclic manner. થઈ ગયું. હવે objectives શું છે? To gain competitive advantage so that the company can outperform the competitors and to act as a guide through all the changes in the environment. Objectives શું છે? Competitive advantage so that the company can outperform the competitors. Guide, it serves as a guide through all the changes in the environment, meaning it is a managerial process of vision, objectives, creating strategy, implementing and evaluating strategy, and taking corrective adjustments. Importance of strategic management: gives direction, define goals and mission and realistic goals. The strategic management gives a direction to the company to move ahead. It helps define the goals and mission. It helps management to define realistic objective and goals which are in line with the mission of the company. Makes proactive બનાવે. Strategic management helps organizations to be proactive instead of reactive in shaping its future. Organizations are able to analyze and take actions instead of being mere spectators. Thereby, they are able to control their own destiny in a better manner. પછી strategic management provides framework for decisions. Strategic management provides framework for all the major decisions of an enterprise, such as decisions on business, products, market, manufacturing. It provides better guidance to It provides better guidance to the organization. Strategic management seeks to prepare the organization to face the future and act as a pathfinder, pathfinder to various business opportunities. Corporate defense mechanism, mistakes and pitfalls. Strategic management serves as a corporate defense mechanism against mistakes and pitfalls. It helps organizations to avoid costly mistakes. Strategic management helps to enhance the longevity of the business with the state of the competition and dynamic environment. It may be challenging for organizations to survive in the long run. It helps the organization to take a clear stand in the related industry and make sure that it is not surviving on the actions over expectations is what strategic management ensures. Strategic management helps the organizations to develop certain core competencies and competitive advantages that would facilitate assist in its fight for survival and growth. Limitations limitations of strategic management: complex and turbulent, time saving, costly, difficult to clearly estimate the competitive responses. Complex and turbulent, time saving, costly, time consuming, costly, and difficult to clearly estimate the competitive responses. Fellow environment is highly turbulent, complex and turbulent. It is difficult to understand the complex environment and exactly pinpoint how it will shape in future. Thus, relying on a business strategy blindly could go absolutely wrong if the environment is turbulent. Strategic management is a time-consuming process. Organizations spend a lot of time in preparing, communicating the strategies that may impede daily operations and negatively impact the routine business. Strategic management is a costly process. Strategic management adds a lot of expenses to an organization. Expert strategic planners need to be engaged. Efforts are made for analysis of external and internal environments, devise strategies and properly implement it. In a competitive scenario where all the organizations are trying to move strategically, it is difficult to clearly estimate the competitive response to a firm's strategy. Competitive response to આવશે ખબર નહીં પડે. આ પતી ગયું. હવે levels of management. Corporateમાં ABVP, allocating the resources. B, determining what business it should be in. V, defining vision, mission, and goals of the organization. P, providing leadership and formulating and implementing strategy. Corporate strategy માં શું હોય? ABVP એ લોકોના tools કયા છે? ABVP, allocating the resources. B, determining what business it should be in. V, definition of vision, mission, and goals of the organization. P, providing leadership and formulating and implementing the strategy. બિઝનેસ ને ફંક્શનલ નું પછી જોઈએ ને સ્ટ્રેટેજિક મેનેજમેન્ટ ઇન નોન ઓર્ગેનાઇઝેશનલ એ બી અંદર પેલામાં જોઈએ. હવે આ લઈ લે. જો આમાં છે ને અહીંયા છે આન્સર એક પેલો I know. A typical large organization is a multidimensional that competes in the several. It has a separate self-contained divisions to manage. There are three levels of strategy and implementation: corporate, corporate, business, and functional. The corporate level of management consists of the CEO, Chief Executive Officer, and top level executives. These individuals occupy the apex of decision making process. The role of corporate level management is to oversee the development of strategies for the whole organization. This role includes defining the mission and goals of the determining what business it should be in, allocating the resources among the different business, and so on. Rest of the corporate level, the development of strategies for individual business areas. Individual business areas lie on is the responsibility of business levels. The general manager in this different business and or business level managers. A business unit is a self-contained division with its own functions. The strategic role of business level manager, head of division, is to translate the general statements of direction and intent that come from the corporate levels into the concrete strategies for individual. Translate the general statements of direction and intent that come from the corporate level into the concrete strategies, and functional level managers are responsible for the specific business functions or operations such as human resources, purchasing, product development, customer service, and so on. Thus, a functional manager's sphere of responsibility is generally confined to one organization activity, whereas general managers oversee the operation of a whole entity. Aware. Organizations can be classified as commercial and non-commercial on the basis of the interest they have. A commercial organization has profit as its main aim. We can find many organizations around us which do not have any commercial objective of making profit. Their genesis may be for social, charitable, and educational purposes. Examples of non-commercial can be the Institute of Chartered Accountant. Their main aim is to provide non-commercial organizations coming into existence to meet the needs not met by the strategic management process is being used effectively by countless non-profit organizations. Many non-profit and governmental organizations outperform private firms and corporations on motivation, productivity, and human relations. પછી આવશે and human relations compared to for-profit organizations. Non-profit organizations and government organizations often functions as a monopoly, produce a product or service that offers little or no measurability of performance and are totally dependent on outside financing. They thus face a challenge in getting the right amount of funds to keep functions. Educational institutions are using strategic management techniques and concepts more frequently. Richard President, the significant change in the competitive climate has taken place in the educational environment. Hence, they are adopting different strategies for attracting the best students. The academic institutions have also joined hands with the industries in order to deliver education to many graduates more employable. The educational delivery system has also undergone considerable changes with the introduction of computers and internet technology. Internet technology આવી ત્યારથી changes એવા. The first all internet law school થઈ ગયેલી. પછી online college degrees are becoming more common. Online college degrees are becoming more common and represent a threat to traditional colleges and universities. Thus, finding the right strategy to sustain the challenges what these educational institutes are working on. Medical organizations, modern hospitals are creating new strategies today as advanced in the diagnosis and treatment diagnosis and treatment of chronic diseases are undercutting that earlier mission. Hospitals are beginning to bring services to the patient as bringing the patient to the hospital. Hospitals are beginning to bring services to the patient rather than bringing patient to the hospital. Pathology have started collecting door-to-door samples. Pathological laboratories door-to-door samples collect करवाना चालू कर दिया जाए. Chronic care will require day treatment facilities, electronic monitoring at home, user-friendly ambulatory. A successful hospital strategy for the future will require renewed independent collaboration with physicians who are central to the hospital's well-being, and a reallocation of resources from acute backward integration strategies that some hospitals are pursuing includes acquiring ambulance services ने acquire करवी, waste disposal services, diagnostic services, પછી millions of persons research medical between doctors. The whole strategic landscape of healthcare is changing because of the internet. For reference on how big an impact of technology in healthcare is Intel recently began offering a new secure medical service whereby doctors and patients can conduct sensitive business on the internet, such as sharing results of medical tests and prescribed medicine. The 10 most successful hospital strategies. There you go. Central government agencies and departments, central, state, and municipal agencies, public sectors, units, departments are responsible for formulating, implementing, and evaluating strategies that use taxpayers' money in the most cost-effective way to provide services and programs. Strategic management concepts are increasingly being used to enable some organizations to be more effective and efficient, but strategies in governmental organizations operate with less strategic autonomy than their counterparts in private firms. Public enterprises generally cannot diversify into unrelated business or merge with other firms. Governmental strategies usually enjoy little freedom in altering the organization's business missions or redirecting the objectives. Legislatures and politicians often have direct or indirect control over major decision and resources. Strategic issues get discussed and debated in the media, and legislature issues becomes politicized, resulting in fewer strategic choice already. But in government agencies and departments are finding that their employees get excited about the opportunity to participate in the strategic management process and thereby have an effect on the organization's mission, objectives, strategy, and policies. In addition, government agencies are using a strategic management approach to develop and substantiate formal requests for additional funding.